What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Reload number 21. If you're counting, we're going to be going over April 16th through April 23rd. We are here in our new studios yet again, and on a new day.
It's Monday.
It's Monday. What the heck?
We were so excited about the pace that we deliver the news that we wanted it to be a little trend-setting and actually get it to you before some of these other news outlets.
Right. So as soon as all the crazy tournaments are done, each weekend we are going to hit the ground running on every single Monday from here on out to get all of the news out to you ASAP. So, and as always, as we start out every episode, we want to say thank you to our awesome sponsors, iHeartEsports. So check them out at iHeartEsports on Twitter and iHeartEsports.com on the World Wide Web. And if you don't know who they are, go check them out. They make really sweet stickers. And as always, remember to listen for the code throughout the show. We'll give you a chance to win some free stickers. So, sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Sound good. All right. Starting with Starcraft news.
Yay.
Starcraft's back in full blast.
In the one spot.
In the number one spot. We're going to go ahead and start with the MLG Spring Arena, which, if you're familiar with the Spring Arena system, this is the very first one that they've done during this spring season, obviously, since it's called number one.
That's the first one.
It's the first one.
Out of two.
There's two. Yes, definitely. And they took the top 8 finishers from Providence and pitted them against each other in New York City once again. Let's go ahead and bring up the results. We have in the finals, we have the one and only Marine King Prime and Don Regu yet again. The MLG 2012 season has yet to see any other person in the finals other than MKP and Don Regu. This time, though, MKP ended up falling to Don Regu in the end. Ended up going 4-3 in the finals. So congratulations to Don Regu. Well-deserved win. It's been a long time coming. He's been trying for the past 3 events.
He's been building momentum. It's coming.
He's trying.
I will say this, though. You know what I think aided him, actually, at this event? There was no extended series.
Oh, yes. I forgot to mention that.
They actually changed the format.
They took out the extended series, which is really awesome. So, honestly, here's the crazy part. Don Regu actually ended as low as he possibly could on the pool play. So he actually went 3-4, whilst MKP went 6-1, and he dropped 7 games out of 21 total. Which, I mean, it's not like he didn't lose a single game, but he was powering through the brackets. So DRG at top, MKP number 2, and then 3rd and 4th place we have Gonzi and Hart, which means that the bottom players from there will be going to the invite-only qualifier, which happens this weekend. So that would be Huck, Parting, MC, and Violet. So they'll have to qualify to get into Spring Arena number 2. So that's where we stand right now. So again, congratulations to Don Regu. Awesome job. Let's go ahead and move on to the Dreamhack Open in Stockholm, Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sweden, yeah.
It's the Goodsa tournament. Yeah.
I was going to say something else, but I'm not. You know what Number 1 beer. Anyways. Let's go ahead and take a look at the results there in Stockholm. We have Thorzane winning 3-1 in the finals, which is very surprising, seeing as he went against Polt, which was powering through the brackets. It was 2-0s all the way through, not dropping a single game until the finals. Thorzane actually ended up, he 2-0'd everybody except, I want to say, Rhett. I don't have Rhett in front of me. I believe it was Rhett. So he only lost 1 game going throughout the entire bracket. And then we have Rhett as number 3 and Monster also sitting in 3rd place. They didn't do a consolation match. So both of them ended up at 3rd. So congratulations to those guys for that tournament as well.
And actually a big shout out. Let's not forget that the actual, there was the partnership between MLG and Dreamhack. So Thorzane being the winner actually gets a invite into the Spring Arena too.
Very cool.
So
that's awesome indeed.
Moving forward, hopefully get some good placements going into the
Now,
spring championships.
Here's the funny thing. Just saying, Naniwa opted to not go to Spring Arena #1, and MC took his place.
Right.
And Naniwa didn't do so hot at Dreamhack, so he could have had a chance to get some points at MLG, but unfortunately, he'll probably have to enter the Open qualifying before Arena #2. So we'll see where Mr. Naniwa goes. But he's been doing good in GSL, but we'll get there.
There's some wacky stuff going on.
We'll get there. Naniwa's all over the place.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and move on to our good old friend NASL. NASL has finally kicked off.
Season 3.
Not just the team league. We're talking about the legit NASL Season 3. So let's go ahead and see what's been going on. We have Division 1. We have Zinio 2-0 over Huang Sin, sorry. We have Puma winning over Stefano. TT1 2-1 over Brat OK, and Cloud 2-0ing Night In. A lot of 2-0s in there. Going on to Division number 2, we have Rung 2-0ing over Crazy Moving. Hasu Obs 2-1 over Show. Hero 2-1 over Damaga, and finally Muslim 2-0ing Dark Force. Let's move on to Division 3. We have Sin 2-1 over TLO, Mana 2-1 over Axlav, Ganzi 2-0 over Rain, and Strelok beating Vibe 2-1. Division 4, there's 5, mind you. We're almost there.
Almost home stretch.
We have now here's what's weird. I didn't read into it. There's a note on Alive and Alicia, and then Lowly over Cats. So Alive ended up winning and Lowly ended up winning. It's called a walkover win. So I'm not sure if those games just weren't played or what. So Alive and Lowly win. Rhett 2-1 over Thorzane, and finally Select dominating Cruncher 2-0. And finally, and number 5, Division 5, we have Puzzle 2-0 over Polt. Maro 2-1ing Jinro. White Raw in the MC game. It has not been played yet. I'm assuming maybe it's because MC was at MLG. And then we have Targa 2-1 over Sheth. We're done.
That's a lot of Starcraft.
Here's the thing about NASL. NASL always has so many games to go over. So, and a lot of people go, man, like, because they don't do their tournaments live. Like, they do all the stuff leading up to it, and it's all taped. And honestly, if they had to play all those matches, this tournament would be a month-long nonstop.
Yes.
So, that's what we have to deal with NASL. But great games overall. I got to catch a few here and there, not too many. But as it heats up, I will be watching more of NASL. So awesome stuff. Now, moving on to the GSL. We have GSL Code S and Code A. I'll spend a little bit more time on S, and I'll kind of go through A and kind of hit on, the big names. So Code S, we're in the round of 16. In Group A, Naniwa and Supernova ended up placing on the top, with Virus and Genius dropping down to Code A. In Group B, Hero and MVP ended up on the top of their groups, sending Lenok and July down to Code A. So, talking about Code A, we'll go ahead and talk about Code A. They're at the round of 48 in Code A. Ace 2-1 over Jock2, Bong Bong 2-1 over Gandalf, Heart 2-0 over Tyrius, Symbol 2-1 over SC, JYP, our buddy from Evil Geniuses, 2-0 over Seal. Huck, unfortunately, could not pull through, getting 2-0'd by Hack. Don Regu, the winner of the MLG Spring Arena #1, 2-0ing Revival, and Alive taking it 2-0 over Soccer. Boom. Yeah. That's the GSL. Done with that. One final news for StarCraft, piece of news. We have the EG Masters Cup Week 5. Fnatic taking Team Liquid 3-1. Mouse Sports taking Team Alternate 3-1. Evil Geniuses. Wait, I just might as well just say these are all 3-1, Mike. They're all 3-1.
Go ahead.
EG over Vile 3-1. Cole MVP 3-1 over It's Gosu. And Empire 3-1 over Millennium. And finally, infamous Team Slayers 3-1 over Dignitas. And I do also want to say, I should have mentioned this when we talked about MLG. MLG has actually just announced partnership with Blizzard. They will be hosting 2 of the tournaments for their whole worldwide championships that Blizzard's doing in place of BlizzCon this year. As well, you might also see a World Cyber Games qualifying event at an MLG event as well. So they're making waves in the StarCraft 2 world. So stay tuned for any more information coming out with that. So that, woo!
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's
a
good
busy
for
weekend.
I have to say, I never mentioned this, but we actually kind of skipped over a little StarCraft news last week because there's so much fighting game stuff. And there wasn't any huge tournaments, so it all caught up with us. So we're caught up with StarCraft. We're good to go. So also this weekend, which also happened to have some StarCraft going on, we have the ACL Sydney event, which Mike caught a bunch of. So Mike, how did the ACL go?
Well, I do want to note first that this is actually the ACL was actually previously known as the Australian Console League. For those of you who are unaware with it, it was actually very much like the MLG, but in Australia. They actually started out with Halo 2 was their most dominant game, and it was known as the Australian Console League. But now, since January, they hold their first event with StarCraft 2. So now it's the Australian Cyber League. So growing out to all of eSports, it's a great event to see grow up. But with that said, let's go ahead and let's get right in first to the StarCraft 2 news, because not a lot of people know that there's actually some heavy hitters. Australia's coming for the world. So let's get right into those results.
We have to watch out for Australia next.
Australia is going to be, it goes Korea, Australia. You never play Risk? You go, Australia is always the strongest. Korea, you go Asia, Australia. Anyway.
I don't think it works like that.
Shout outs to my dad for teaching me the dominant strategies in Risk. Anyway. StarCraft 2, ACL Sydney results. In first place, we have Moonglade, who actually, this is his second win in a row. He took that event in January, and he came into this event heavily favored and once again took first place. In second place, we have Targa, who, as you recall, was actually playing in NASL, so he's busy. He's picking up some games here and there. And in third place, we have Pig, who is kind of an up-and-coming player. But like I said, watch out for those Australians, man. They're coming in full force. Next, we have Gears of War 3, which, if you know a little bit of the history of Australia as far as video games go, their government is very, very heavy into regulating violent video games. So for them to actually have a Gears of War tournament was actually kind of surprising, and it, without a doubt, was one of the most intense and most fan-favored events going on that weekend. But with that being said...
bloodlust.
Oh, they were like, there's blood on the screen! I can't believe it! I remember the outrage when they couldn't get Mortal Kombat 9. But anyway, like I said, Gears of War 3, everybody was tweeting about it. Everybody was commenting on it. The finals actually came down to the last game. It was actually, we'll get right into the results. Gears of War 3, we have Legacy. Second place was Reborn, and third place was Malice. And that actually went 4-3 in Legacy's favor. It took all 7 games to decide it. So that was very intense. But also, at the same time, you had the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 tournament, which, again, had a stellar grand final. It took all the games. It took all the way to Game 11 to figure out a champion. So let's get into the results for that. We had, first place was Mind Freak, which, again, won 6-5 because they took all the games needed to determine a champion. Second place, Fnatic Array. And third place was Cruelty Incarnate, which... It's kind of weird being here in North America, kind of like the quote-unquote home of Call of Duty. And we've had the Reflex GT, we've had the EGL, and now we've had the ACL. So all the Call of Duty action is...
Not here.
Not here. Kind of. I mean, we have the Machinima Frag Cup, and the Call of Community event is coming up, so...
I think all it's going to take is someone needs to start a Modern Warfare 3 movement, I mean, if MLG isn't going to, carry it, like... Someone's got to do it.
It's funny because I can't remember who the interview was with, but they basically related it's like, yeah, the NBA went on lockout, so all the players went international. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Like, that's
pretty
cool.
much.
That's whatever.
All right.
But anyway, let's move on. Next, as I said, the ACL was kind of like MLG, if no more so than in this aspect. Halo Reach was actually kind of the low-attended event there. And it's not because there's not fanfare there, and it's not because they don't like the game. It's because that when all the grand finals were going on, everybody was getting pulled to either Call of Duty or Modern Warfare 3, and the Halo Reach finals actually ended in the grand final 5-1. So it was a bit lackluster in comparison to the other finals that were going on at the venue. But like I said, ACL is Halo based, so let's get right into the finals for that. First place, we have Unite. In second place, we have NBT. And in third place, we have Cabeblut. Is how I'm going to pronounce that.
I don't know.
I think that's an Australian.
What's up with these teams?
That's an Australian dirty word.
With your weird names, man.
Anyway, and last but not least, because I cover a lot of European events, and it's actually one of those titles that's always there, FIFA 12. What? I don't know a lot about them football games, but I do know that it has a large following. So, excuse me.
You need a cough drop, Mike?
You took my cough drop from last week.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, so let's get right into that. FIFA 12. Final top 3, we have Immunity Skip 1, actually kind of rolled the competition. Second place, we have Ninja Brett, and in third place, we have Musa. So very cool to see. As I said, like the Reflex GT and a couple other events are doing a lot of FIFA action, so might as well catch some of it while you can.
Indeed.
It's very good stuff.
All right, cool.
And
one final piece of news.
One more final piece of news going into it.
But we haven't come up with a code yet.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
How about...
All right, here's the thing. Because you went over to change, if you notice...
Moving graphics.
We had these... We're fancy up here with all these new graphics down there. So let's do this. Hashtag fancy screen. Hashtag fancy screen.
If you would like stickers for My Heart Esports, all you need to do is to follow and tweet at BossFight TV and iHeart Esports. Hashtag
fancy screen.
Fancy screen. I like it.
Continue. Team Spooky.
Whoa! Whoa! Fancy screen.
So what was Spooky up to this weekend? Or should I say, what was New York City up to this weekend? The fighting game scene.
Moving into fighting games, the last piece of news that we have, Team Spooky actually held they called it the Spring Fighter Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition version 2012 tournament. Nailed it.
Bam.
I got it. But they actually this was held actually in New York City. And it was actually a very large tournament. They had over 50 competitors. And it's funny because going into this weekend, we actually have MLG's first fighting game arena, which is also taking place in New York, actually at the MLG offices. So it's kind of funny to see this, kind of Capcom infiltration. Obviously, NYC is always a hub. I mean, you have like Big Two and Curly Mustache and events like that. And there's a lot of really good player base out there. But this was interesting to see kind of spring up. Get it, spring? Almost last second.
You clever devil.
But anyway, we'll get right into the results for that. In first place, we have... Whoa, I moved my notes over. I almost talked about Starcraft.
Mr. T.S. Saban?
First place, we have T.S.
Sanchez.
Saban. I almost said that. I almost said Don Regu got first place.
Don Regu, first place. Street Fighter AE.
All over the place. First place for the Team Spooky Spring Fighter Tournament for Super Street Fighter 4. We have first place T.S. Saban, second place Aqua Silk, and third place was HZY. So a lot of good fighting game action out there in New York City last weekend and also this weekend. As I said, that MLG Columbus will be holding their fighting game arena featuring Mortal Kombat 9 as well as Soul Calibur 5. So keep an eye out for that.
Very cool.
Free stream for 360 or $5 HD if you want to pay that. It's cool. Support the fighting game community.
And as always, keep a lookout for the Road to Evo events coming up.
Yep.
Because we have Seasons Beatings up in Columbus.
May
We have
5th and 6th.
UFGT, if I can get that out. All right. Coming up. I don't know. Something like that. But keep a lookout. Other than that,
I do have one more piece of news. Yes,
right.
Actually, Namco has actually released quite a bit of information concerning Tekken Tag Tournament 2.
You're excited for that, aren't you?
Yes, because I'm a huge Tekken Tag Tournament 2, or the first one is actually where I kind of picked up fighting games initially because I never really was into Street Fighter and all that stuff, but I am now. FYI, my team was Eddie and Paul. Eddie break dances, and Paul has a super punch, so you just break dance until they break your combo, and then you come in and punch him in the face. That's how I used to do it. But anyway, day one launch will actually feature 50 characters with no DLC unlocks.
Take that, Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
No DLC unlocks. This is actually a lot of news because, as you mentioned,
Right.
like Street Fighter Cross Tekken actually just had their update come out this week, featuring a lot of gyms and some other, I think, just costumes and things like that. Namco has said that they may do DLC for like vanity plates for online play.
Like, hey, bro, we're going to put our DLC on the disc, but we're going to give it to you.
Yeah, here you go. Here it is.
Oh, sorry, I had to take a stab. I'm sorry.
Some other news that was also revealed about it is that all of the characters, because you do play in a team of 2, all of the characters will actually have their own transition moves actually inside of the game and enable to help you maybe make up a team or get these moves down. They actually have a brand new training system called the Fight Lab, which not only shows you how to do the combos like you would normally do in practice, but it actually kind of tells you like, oh, with this character, you may want to play somebody a little bit faster or somebody that has better health regain or things like that. So that's also very cool to see. But then last but not least, it is actually using the Soul Calibur 5 netcode, which at this time, in the early release, the early builds of Tekken Tag Tournament 2 with online play actually tackles more. It's 3 to 5 times more data than Super Street Fighter 4, which is ridiculous.
It's pretty crazy.
That's going to make online tournaments actually somewhat feasible.
That's crazy.
But we'll have to actually wait and see. And the game comes out sometime in November.
We'll see.
I'm very excited, but
maybe I'll have to pick it up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. But if that's all you got,
that's all I have.
We're done.
That's all I have for this week.
It's a wrap.
Let's do it.
As always, this is Josh Engel, also known as Answer Pro. Thanking you for watching BossFight TV. And join with me tonight.
As always, I'm Mike Bisson, a.k.a. Mohawk Mike, thanking you for supporting esports, whatever capacity you do, and thank you for considering.